Hello everyone, this is Jeff Man. Today I'm making this video to demonstrate that you do not have to format an SD card to write an image to it as long as Windows recognizes the SD card. As you can see, what I have highlighted here, I have a 16 gigabyte SanDisk Ultra inserted into my SD card reader. Only 56 megabytes of space is readable by Windows, as the rest of the space is an ext4 partition, which is a Linux file system and only recognizable if you're on a Linux distribution or if you have special software that can read ext4 partition in Windows. As you can see, it's a standard Retropie installation. All I can see is the boot partition, and I'm going to attempt to write an image to it using Win32 disk imagery. Some people will try to tell you that this isn't possible, but they're factually incorrect. Image files by nature contain all the partition data, your file system data, what file systems are contained on the original source that you're reading the image from, and no matter how you have your SD card formatted, it could be NTFS, FAT32, EXFAT, partitioned 10 ways to Sunday. None of this matters if you're going to write another image to it, as long as Windows can recognize the SD card. If Windows doesn't recognize the SD card, you cannot physically write an image to it because Windows programs cannot recognize the SD card. As you can see, it is drive K. I have drive K selected here, and I'm going to pick a standard Retropie image file. I'll write the 0 image to it because it's the smallest. And we just click write, accept the disclaimer, and there you go. Even though Windows could only see 56 megabytes, the image will still be written. As I stated before, people will try to tell you that this isn't the case, and they are just incorrect. While we're writing here, I'm just going to explain further. There is nothing, absolutely nothing that you can do to make it necessary to format an SD card before writing an image as long as Windows recognizes the SD card. And this goes for everything, not just the SD card, hard drives, floppy drives, anything that you want to write an image to or from. As long as your Windows recognizes the SD card, hard drive, or whatever, and as long as you have enough free file space to write the image, then it's going to write. Because as I stated before, all your partition table data, your file system data, your file system formats are contained on the image. It's not that formatting would hurt you in any way, but it's just an unnecessary step, and there's a lot of misinformation out there, especially when dealing with things like the Raspberry Pi, where people plainly do not know what they're talking about. And one of the reasons I'm making this video is just not to prove anybody wrong, but just to inform and educate people, because I really love this hobby, and I'm sure many of you do too. And I just want everybody to be adequately educated and have correct information. It's always nice to have a little bit more knowledge about what you're doing. Um, it's taken a long time to write this image, and I really don't have anything further to say. If you are more interested and what's going on behind the scenes, I recommend you look up image files in particular. Just search Google for .img file extension or something similar to that, and you'll be able to find lots of information about what's actually going on when you read or write an image. When this finishes up, I'm going to partition my SD card all crazy and show that an image can still be written to it. As you can see, the write was successful. We're going to exit. You can see it's again boot. Now it's a Retropie 0 for the Raspberry Pi Zero. I believe the card was set up with a Retropie 2 and 3 image with some ROMs on it. But let's go and let's format this thing. We'll format it as something crazy. We'll format it 57 megabytes, NTFS with a crazy high allocation unit size. We'll label it no need to format. And we'll just run a quick format because we don't have time to do anything else. Okay, the drive is formatted. As you can see, once again, now it's no need to format. All the space is free. We don't got a lot of free space because of the very large allocation unit size I used. Now we're going to run Win32 disk imager again. Drive K is selected. We will go back to my Retropie image. This time, just for giggles, we'll go back to the Raspberry Pi 2, Raspberry Pi 3 image. We'll open that. We'll write. And as you can see, it writes with no problem. There is absolutely no reason to ever format your SD card or hard drive or anything that you're using to write an image to in the event that you are writing an image and that Windows recognizes the device that you're trying to write an image to. You will find cases where be the card corrupted or the entire card is formatted into a file system that Windows cannot recognize, or several situations like that where I insert the SD card and it just doesn't come up in the computer at all. You won't be able to see it. Windows will not be able to recognize it. In that event, you would need to format it. You're not formatting it to prepare it to write the image. You're only formatting it so that Windows is able to recognize the device. When you're writing an image like Retropie, it actually writes two different partitions to the device you're writing it to. You'll have a boot partition, which is usually around 56 megabytes, and you'll have an ext4 partition, which is a Linux file system. That will take up the rest of the space of your card because Retropie automatically expands the file system now. Back in the day, they didn't do that. You had to do it manually. But what I'm getting at here is since two different partitions are written to your card in two different file systems, there's nothing formatting could do for you anyway. I mean, the best you could do is format it FAT32, and that's not helping you with ext4 partitions. So as I was saying, there is no reason. Sorry to reiterate, I don't make many videos. I'll use the rest of this time to tell you, though, that I love y'all in the group here. Very nice group. All of you are my brothers and sisters in this hobby. Take very much pride in being a part of these groups that I'm in and being able to collaboratively engage in this hobby with all of you. Every one of you are a friend in my book. Um, if I can help you with anything, if you ever need to know anything, please feel free to message me or PM me. Um, Reach out to me in some way, and I will be glad to help each and every one of you. As you can see, the image was written successfully again. We're just going to check it, and then I'll get off here and leave y'all alone. Again, we're back to a boot partition. This time for Retropie, for Raspberry Pis, Raspberry Pi 2 and 3s. It's a fat partition. If I were to insert this into my Raspberry Pi right now, I would boot right up into Retropie. Thank you for your time, and as I said, I love you all, and y'all all have a very good day and exciting time engaging in this hobby we all know and love. Thank you.